I swear I am never doing that again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened there, but I've realized that there was a setting on there. We've gone for virtual safety car. As Alteza has retired from the session there. Oh, boy. Oh, no. I can't believe that. Ruslan was bringing this up earlier. I thought what he meant by no sound was that he couldn't hear the game. Oh, dearie me. That is an absolute fluff by me, and I know why that is. Oh, I forgot all about it. That is my bad there. That is embarrassing as hell. Sorry about that. Apologies to the admins and organizers there. Oh, if somebody had been a little more specific, I could have... Ah, that's my fault there. Sorry about that. I thought what Ruslan meant was that he couldn't hear the game. Not me, myself, and I. But anyway, we are out of virtual safety car. We're just going to have to commentate on the action as we see fit. So, you didn't hear it before, but Pole Sitter has gone from 1st to 15th in that race. And Pink Panther has dropped down from 3rd to 8th. But now on the recovery charge, Bloodsport, one to look out for as it stands right now. But Pink Panther has made a mistake from the podium. Unfortunately, he's now going to drop down into last. Drivers getting a bit heavy with their right foot. Max Martin ran into the exact same issue earlier on. And then, unfortunately, he has left himself a mountain to climb. But, and oh no, Max Martin again has made a mistake. What is going on in Suzuka? Some of the drivers are expected to be higher up in the grid are just not making the advancements, are making a bunch of silly mistakes. Max Martin being one of them. Unfortunately, that is that. For Max Martin, an even bigger climb for him. And now he dives down the inside in absolute desperation there and gets the move done back up into 14th, but he has now got a real charge on his hands. But anyway, we have got Lasser leading the race by about 4 seconds. And Lasser has done an absolute great job. He has gotten off the line excellently and has just led from lap 1. Now, at the moment, the battles that we are focusing on are from 3rd all the way down to 11th position. So this field are all together for the same battle as Mr. Goat has made the move up into 3rd position. So, at the moment, Mr. Goat up into 3rd, and now Maxette is gonna become the chaser. Well, Mr. Goat becomes the defender. So now Night Nerd trying to get up onto all this. Night Nerd is up a few positions, but Maxette has made a mistake there at the worst possible moment. And that is just before the Degners. And they're side by side for the Degners. That was always going to end in tears. What was happening there? Who was going to... Someone had to give it. That's a crash into the barrier as well. That'll be damage to the front wing. And unfortunately for him, that is 11th place. And he's got a pit stop owed now because of a damaged front wing. You are going to lose the downforce there. And that ultimately means he is down to 11th position. So now, Rosso, who I thought would be making more advances up the grid, has kind of had to hold position in 10th position as it stands right now. And he is currently struggling to make up the moves. So here we go. We have a caution in Centre 2 now for somebody. What has happened here? What is going on? And it is the Haas of Max Check who's made an error again. Drivers are surprisingly struggling around here. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but as I was talking about the pack being crunched up together, unfortunately, Bloodsport makes a move for 5th position on Antoine, as Antoine lost the DRS to 3rd place, 3rd and 4th place there of Night Nerd, as Pink Panther now makes a move, but that's because Maxette is pitting because of his damaged front wing. So we will see what compound he goes on the soft tyres. I'm surprised he's gone on to that. He's probably going to try and make up the time and hope for a safety car, which hasn't happened at the moment. Of course, Alpeza was your first retirement of the race. We, of course, saw him parked up on the pit entry. He just kind of somehow just parked it there and unfortunately wasn't able to continue with the race. So Altezza, despite being championship contender before this mini season, has ultimately been unable to replicate that form going in to this little championship. But now Bloodsport has made moves up a grid. He is absolutely zooming through the field. He has made up 8 positions so far and has taken advantage of the mistakes around him. And now Bloodsport looking like he could be in a good position for a podium here. And all of a sudden could be taking Antoine with him as long as Antoine stays within that DRS. Deku is, of course, our first driver to have a 3-second penalty thanks to track limits. So we have a caution in sector 2. I think that is the Haas driver of Mac making a mistake yet again, and that was just out the Degner corner. So at the moment, as we approach now onto lap 8, and we are seeing Vers make a move on Deku there. Easy as you like, academic as you like, but Deku wants to fight that a bit harder. That forced him wide ultimately, and there you go. The Alpine driver now drops behind his teammate into 10th position. As it stands right now. So, hope you've been enjoying the race so far. I do just kind of want to apologize there for you not hearing me for the first few laps of the race there. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't realize you couldn't hear me, not the game. So, unfortunately, that is all my bad there. I do apologize. And we've had another error from somebody, and that is Max Martin again. Through Snake. What has happened to him here? Max Martin making no impression on the field at all, and both AlphaTauri cars struggling to do anything in this race. I don't know how long Max Martin can take this, but our championship leader really doesn't look like he'll keep it at the moment. But then again, nobody who is in the standings is really making an impression. Means I missed the return of the 5th reaction. Oh, I'm sorry. It was funny. It was funny. I enjoyed that. But anyway, it is what it is now, and ultimately Bloodsport. But I think the main headline here is that Lassa will now be in this championship fight if things stay as they are. I just don't see Max Martin making up 22 seconds, and similar for Max Set there, 25 seconds needed, or even 26, I should say, as Vers now makes a move on Antoine. So Antoine really falling like a stone to water as it stands right now. Those medium tires really suffering in the early part, but of course in about 4 or 5 laps time those medium tires will be optimal for the race that is going on right now, and they will close that gap to the soft compounds as now Night Nerd finally makes a move on Mr. Goat for 3rd position. And now look at this, it becomes a 3-horse race for 3rd position. Something has done well to get away from this as well, as Max Martin comes into the pits again. Max Set makes a move here, of course, due to his teammate being in the pits. And that is all said and done. Max Martin, having a miserable day at the office, goes onto the hard compound of tyres and will continue on. And we have a caution set to 2. That is for an Alfa Romeo. It's for Pink Panther, who has got it all wrong coming out the Degner corner. Has been a very common mistake for him there. He'll continue on unharmed, but a lot of drivers definitely struggling, and who we thought were going to be championship contenders. The only one really up there is Panther and Rosso, but they are not anywhere near Lassa as it stands right now. So they are hoping that the strategy comes into play when the pit stops begin to occur. So Rosso and Panther, I don't think we've seen the last of them just yet, although it will take something dramatic to bring them into the mix of this for the lead. Let's just hope the strategy that they are working with works out for them. But Lassa definitely in a good position here to take some points for the championship. Now, they've just gone through the first DRS zone, and this is the battle for 3rd place that you are watching on your screen right now. So, Bloodsport, Mr. Goat, and Night Nerd. Of course, Bloodsport will take driver of the day as it stands right now, and if he makes any further positions, this will be the driver of the season by far and away. Pink Panther actually suffered damage there after that spin out of Degner, so he's had to pit yet again. And let's have a look at the pit stops. For him, it's 1 stop actually for Max Martin, and 1 stop for Max Set. Pink Panther having made no stops. That does surprise me a little bit, but it is what it is. Mr. Goat still trying to defend from Bloodsport here, as we have another caution in sector 1 is it for a Red Bull? I think it was briefly for a Red Bull. He was just coming out of Dunlop there and had just made a mistake, but it is what it is, and he continues on. No harm done. That is the Red Bull of Lee Dog there. So Lee Dog also having a miserable time in the office, trying to recover what little of the race there is. Well, what little of the race there is, and I say that, but there's still 43 laps to go, so anything can still happen as it stands right now. Suzuka known to throw up a few surprises here and there as we approach the corner where that famous Senna and Prost battle happened. Hello, Mr. America. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Otherwise, now, Bloodsport has the DRS. He got a bit squirrely coming out the Casio triangle there, so that means Mr. Goat had the momentum there. He's going to try and take Night Nerd for third, maybe? Nope, nothing to it as it stands right now. They hold position as Max Martin now makes a move yet again on Mac. He is up to 14th from 15th there. Max Martin, of course, just having a miserable time of it. Yes, just woke up. Hello there, thank you for joining the broadcast. Hope you're having a good time as it stands so far. You're joining us for a great battle for third position. There are tons of battles within the top 10 that are happening right now, but this seems to be the one that's capturing the attention of the broadcast, aka me. And also Antoine has now come back to the DRS zone well, Vers has carried him along with him, and now they are just behind Bloodsport, so that three-car race now becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, and if Deku catches up to this, it will become 7 if I'm not looking. Well, actually, technically, that's 5 or 6. So yeah, about 5 or 6 cars will be involved in the battle so far. So if we go aboard with Night Nerd there, look at the background of your frame. 6 or 7 cars on it. This is a great battle so far. Look at that train. You love to see it, but I imagine those mediums will be starting to come into their own now, because the softs will surely be past their best and will be losing the time that the drivers need to stay ahead. So ultimately, keep an eye on the medium runners. They will surely begin to make an impression on this race as these laps begin to tumble. Now, Mr. Goat there had the DRS, was thinking about a move there, was right up to his gearbox, but ultimately didn't follow through with a move. Thought better of it, as that first corner is very high speed now through the snake here, which is, of course, very reminiscent of Maggots and Beckett's, but very much its own kind of style of Maggots and Baskets. It's like copy the homework, but don't name it the same. Very much kind of vibes there. So, but still an iconic set of corners there in the F1 calendar. We now approach the Degner curves. Again, all of this track is just iconic. If iconic was a word, this would be the picture next to it. I absolutely love Suzuka and the Formula 1 calendar, and the Formula 1 drivers and fans absolutely love Suzuka as well. So we hope to see this for, hopefully within our lifetimes, to see it on the F1 calendar. It's just great. I can't sing praises enough about it, and I hope to visit here in real life at some point. But that is another discussion for another day. We are seeing some very exciting battles happen right now, but it is just a DRS train, so it is about who folds first. Now, I imagine we'll be seeing pit stops in the next couple of laps, because I do believe those softs are far past their best by now, and Antoine and Panther will surely begin to make impressions on the field, like I've already stated. Because now we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6-car train for third, and there you go. Bloodsport is looking to try and make a move, but you saw him have the DRS open there, but decided to close it midway through the straight. So in the end, he thought the move wasn't worth it, and Mr. Goat wanted to keep that 4th place. He just wants to stay in that battle for Night Nerd there, but making a mistake there, going very wide of the apex there through Snake. And unfortunately for him, just lost a bit of ground there to Night Nerd, but still within that DRS, which is going to be important for him. I do believe Mr. Goat's tyres, though, have seen their best. We're starting to see a few mistakes for him here and there, so Bloodsport is surely going to be lining him up. Maybe we'll see him have a go at the hairpin here. So here we go. Bloodsport, will he have a go? No, he didn't get the exit he wanted out of the Degners, so he's too far back for the hairpin. As is everybody, to be honest with you. Then we're all just kind of settling in. It's kind of like watching NASCAR here go around the oval, except far more entertaining. Of course, no judgment to people who like NASCAR. I do apologise there. Bit uncalled for. But Bloodsport, at the moment, definitely looking like our driver of the day. He is up 8 positions on his start, but then again, so is Vers. Vers is up 6 positions from 12th to 6th. at the moment. So right now they are now, as you saw in the front of your frame there, that is of course Mac. He was your pole position sitter at the beginning of this race, but unfortunately his pace meant that he dropped down and now is the second driver to incur a 3-second track limit penalty. Now of course we had this discussion last time and it doesn't look like we've needed to here, but with track limits, what is it about this game that makes it so difficult to keep it within the white lines? It's just been one of those, if you want to talk amongst yourselves and, like, you know, discuss that in the chat, I wouldn't mind, because I will be, of course, I do, of course, have access to chat. But what makes this game so difficult to keep it between the white lines, as we saw Mac there briefly visit his alien overlords. But he will continue on as it stands right now. And there you go, he has been lapped. They ghost him relevantly. Thank God the game does that. Or else that would have been very upsetting. There would have been a lot of tears shed if there were collisions with Mac in 15th there. As Vaz is your third driver to now incur a 3-second penalty. And at the moment, Vaz now very much nil and void from this race as it stands right now. Very much an unforced error. Now, of course, Max Martin, who is, of course, down in 14th position and has very much struggled to keep pace with the field here. Skill, like it, I stared straight to the point. Skill issue. He doesn't want to have a talk about it at all. He just wants to blame the drivers. And I always come to the defense of drivers here. This game is one of the hardest to abide by track limits, and I just can't quite understand why myself. So if you have any sort of in-depth discussion there, please do let me know. We are keeping an eye on chat at the moment, as it stands right now. So at the moment, this battle is very much stalemated. Of course, DRS trains don't always help with that. Bloodsport still looking aggressive behind Mr. Goat. Now, Night Nerd has been trying here and there to try and break this gap to Mr. Goat, but ultimately he's just done enough to keep him at bay, but also keep him within the DRS, so that he doesn't have Bloodsport chasing after him. I think he knows that Bloodsport has the pace here, and Antoine as well in 7th. Of course, I bring him out because he is on the medium tyre, and it's looking like he's the closest he's ever been to making a move. But then again, so is Vers on Bloodsport. Bloodsport making a mistake there through the snake section of the track, but Vers wasn't able to take advantage of it. But look how Bloodsport closes up in the Degners as well to the cars in front there. So at the moment, Bloodsport on those softs still looking racy. And actually, you saw Night Nerd there making a defensive move through the hairpin there. So evidently, Mr. Goat was really close there. We just missed it. But ultimately, Mr. Goat now looking like he's ready to make a move on Night Nerd. He's had enough and is looking to break this DRS train of 6 cars or 7 cars. And now looking to get away and try and bring the fight to something. But I don't think Lasser's going to be close enough. And here we go, Mr. Goat with the run out of Spoon Curve onto the back straight, then through 130R, has got it done there. So now Mr. Goat up into 3rd. Night Nerd demoted into 4th position, and now Mr. Goat will try and get on the charges. Bloodsport there has had to make a move there. Vers, I think, might have overcooked it going into Casio Triangle, and that's affected Bloodsport quite heavily. Pink Panther is retired. We have a safety car. Oh, as we were seeing positions being made, Pink Panther has retired from the session, and our first real safety car has been deployed, and Lasser's gap has been eliminated. Will Mac now be allowed to lap himself? He has been rather behind on pace throughout the race, but at least could be a bit of a lifeline. And now Max Martin down in 13th, 31 seconds behind his teammate, has just been handed the biggest lifeline to his championship. Can he make full use of it and try and get to the front of the field? Because now Lasser, who's of course been your retiree for the first 2 rounds, has got no points on the board as it stands right now. So Lasser will be looking to make an impression as it stands right now. Night Nerd has had a severe collision with Mr. Goat, and that has served him a 5-second penalty. He can serve this in the pits. I say it's not too severe, but then again, you don't want to serve 5 seconds in a battle this tight. Under safety car, that should be sort of what we call a free pit stop, because at least the pack will concertina over together But thanks to this safety car, what was 16 now becomes 14. So 14 drivers remain. Altezza and Pink Panther will not be scoring points for Alfa Romeo at all. They will be disappointed with that within the team, and that will hurt their standings. As wow, Bloodsport just yeeted away into the Casio triangle there, just obviously misreading the corner there, and we've just had a collision there, and that is Night Nerd having to come to a full stop there. So I don't quite know what happened there. But anyway, he is going to serve this 5-second penalty now and get it out of the way with. And now they do change the tyres, so he's going on to the medium sets. Bloodsport follows suit on the mediums as well. Mr. Goat, though, as expected, comes out the front. But look at this. Antoine, thanks to that strategy, is now in 5th position. He has jumped the 2 drivers he was behind, and Deku as well, making a pit stop earlier on, finds himself back in the fight in all of this. Deku, of course, already has a 3-second penalty, but could have that removed at the end of the race if he does want to appeal it. That is what Max Martin did, and ultimately that's what gave Max Martin the win from Saudi Arabia. His penalty was removed by the stewards, so now Max Martin leads the championship, but unfortunately has not been able to carry that momentum into this round. He lies in 13th position as of right now and has made that stop, as has Max at his teammate. So Max Martin will be making moves on his teammate here if he doesn't come out in time. Well, no, he's actually gone for another pit stop, as Mac has now retired from the session. So Mac evidently has had enough, and what was 14 now becomes 13. So 13 drivers all fighting for a win. Lasser, of course, has dominated proceedings as it stands right now, but Max Martin will surely be looking racy, as will Lead Dog, as will Panther. But Antoine, let's keep an eye on him. But Bloodsport definitely deserves a shout here, because he is now gonna be up 9 positions. Of course, he was up 8 positions from 5th, but from 4th, 9 positions, and if he overtakes Mr. Goat, that is 10 positions in total so far. So Bloodsport having a great drive. He is zooming through the field, and will he be in contention for the win? Lasser, though, has been absolutely dominant at the front of the field, so we will see how that happens. We'll see what happens once we go underway. It will be Lasser leading us through, of course. But at the moment, we are going to go through the grid. So Lasser in first, Something in second. The top 2 having a quiet race, just been getting on with their own stuff. But now, thanks to the safety car, the pack has concertinaed together. And surely now they'll be looking over their shoulders when it comes to the restart. Mr. Goat in 3rd, Bloodsport in 4th, Antoine making a couple of positions in the pit stops in 5th. Deku finding himself back in contention after pit stops in 6th, but of course has a 3-second penalty to serve at the end of the race, as does Vers in 7th. Hyder Leo been very quiet here. I thought he'd be nearer the front of the field, but hasn't been able to make the progress. Of course, Suzuka, a very difficult track to overtake on. It is very narrow, and unfortunately it's catching him out. But Night Nerd, thanks to the 5-second penalty, was fighting for a podium position, but now finds himself down in 9th on the crutches of the top 10. So Night Nerd with a bit of work to do, and for a track that is known for being difficult to overtake on, it's surely going to be difficult for him to make some progress. Panther rounds out your top 10 on the softer tyres. Of course, Antoine also on the softer tyres, so the 2 runners at the moment, we'll see how they do on the restart. Those 2 will be looking very racy. Lead Dog, who has of course been at the back of the field for quite a lengthy amount of time now, finally has a chance to catch up to the pack and make some moves in 11th. Max Martin, really horrible day for him so far. He's caught back up and has got the safety car that he needed up into 12th so far. Maxet, who will eventually catch up to the field, will round out your 13 drivers thus far. So, as it stands right now, Lasser will lead the way. Now, will safety car be called in this lap? Because the pack has come together. Now, of course, the ones on softer tyres will, of course, be wishing, and no, their wishes are granted. They would have liked one more lap. Now, Lasser needs to give gap so that the safety car can arrive into the pit lane so that they can safely go. So we'll hand the audio over to Lasser. Let's see when it goes. safety car is now in the pit lane. It's all up to Lasser. Leaves it a bit late there, coming out of Casio Triangle, but he does catch Lasser with something lapping even. Lasser there doing a good job, and now Mr. Goat is having a chance for second place, but something has great straight line speed there, able to hold off Mr. Goat. That was a great start from Lasser, but ultimately couldn't hold it. Something having excellent straight line speed there. Great setup from him thus far, so Mr. Goat still putting the pressure on Bloodsport. Able to get a comfortable gap at the very least to Antoine, as Mac has now left the session. Antoine, though, not able to make any positions, but there you go. Vers and Deku now swap position. That is for 6th position. And now Rosso looking to try and take advantage of that. Unable to do so. So Rosso struggling like hell here. And there you go, Mr. Goat and something do battle at the hairpin. They go side by side. They're still side by side coming out the corner. They will go through 200 miles side by side, and Mr. Goat wins out in the end, holds off second for the time being. There you go, Mr. Goat making a great move there and is up into second, and we're looking to try and get into 1 second of Lasser there. Lasser will not be enjoying this at all. He had a 20-second lead coming into the safety car, and it has all been eradicated as Maxwell 10 now makes a move on Lead Dog. Maxwell 10 looking to recover this race, still with 30 laps to go, as Bloodsport and Antoine now do battle. Antoine down the outside at Casio Triangle. How did he do that? How has he done that? That is just the difference, I believe, between soft and medium tyre. We now have a fastest lap of a 1:38.80 from Lasser there. But great move from Antoine there, and Night Nerd getting the move done. Of course, no DRS activated on this lap, of course, and they go side by side through the first corner. Near enough contact there, but they keep it clean and keep it respectful between each other. That was some great racing there, my word. Great racing, and well done to not make any contact there through the first corner. That is really tight and closes like really quickly as you're going through that right-hander. But look at this. Oh, apologies. Mr. Go has brought down that gap to under a second. Lasser will be fuming in that cockpit to, of course, Pink Panther, who brought out that safety car, because now he has got a train following him, and Mr. Goat isn't letting him go. So at the moment, as next lap comes around, Mr. Goat will try to be within that DRS, but through this section, Mr. Goat has struggled to keep up. So at the moment, Mr. Goat needs to find something now. Does he have the straight line speeds and the battery deployment to stay within 1 second? At the moment, it seems to be Lasser winning out at 1.2 seconds. No DRS section through here as there's no heavy braking. And there you go, Panther has made a move on Deku as well in the background. This is all no DRS overtakes at the moment, and we've seen some excellent overtakes. But Antoine has been able to increase that gap to Bloodsport. Bloodsport back down into 5th, and those soft tyres proving dividend as it stands right now. And Lasser sets the fastest lap yet again as DRS is enabled, a 130.7 there. Around and about, but Mr. Goat hasn't been able to keep up, so Lasser setting the pace yet again and has broken that DRS gap to Mr. Goat. So Lasser looking really good here with 33 laps to go. Antoine still looking racy on those soft tyres, up into 4th position. Antoine with an inspired strategy here as of right now, but will need to try and hold out for as long as he possibly can. He will probably make another pit stop before the end of the race at about, I would say, lap 38ish or so. Now we are approaching the point where this will become a standard league race for the drivers here. Once we get to about under 30 laps, it is a normal race. So once we get to about, I think it's going to be lap 26 here, that's when this will become a normal league race, because Quantum Racing League usually do a 50% race of a full Grand Prix distance, and of course that only allocates for about 1 pit stop or something. But with these 100% races, strategies are all over the place. But look at Bloodsport here. He would have been absolutely raving to make positions, but now he is under pressure, and Rosso is now beginning to make an impression. He has made moves up into the top 7, but look at this, Vers wasting no time at all into Casio yet again. We are seeing a lot of moves go through there. Antoine, of course, made the move around Bloodsport around the outside, but look at that, Vers only needed the inside. He gets that all done, but look, Vers, and who is that? That is Rosso side by side there. It took me a while to get who that was as Panther sets the fastest lap. of a 134.07. Rosso up into 6th position. Bloodsport loses out by 2. He is not going to be happy. The medium tyre is not playing dividends with his car. And now with 32 laps to go, Bloodsport has a bit of work to do. But Max Martin still hasn't made any impression there, down in 11th. Of course, your championship leads are coming into this, but will definitely not be if Hyderleo can make up a couple of more positions. I believe Hyderleo has a chance at leading the championship at the end of this race, but needs to make a couple of positions, at least needs a podium, I think, as Night Nerd. Now he's going to make his life more difficult, makes a position. I believe that's because Deco made a mistake, so that means Max Martin is up into the top 10 now. So Night Nerd vulnerable to Max Martin, and will surely be getting that move done sooner rather than later. Next DRS zone, I would imagine, which is, of course, only the start-finish straight. But I kind of want to give a shout-out here to Mr. Goat, because he has not let go of Lasser as it stands right now. So he's been deploying his battery quite sensibly, evidently, and has still got maintained that gap as Lee Dog now makes a move for 11th position in the background there. Lee Dog up into 11th, now chasing Max Martin and Night Nerd. Of course, Night Nerd and Max Martin will do battle at the start-finish straight. I think Max Martin should get this done, and rather academically so. Let's see as Rosso now makes a move for 5th. So now Rosso is zooming through the field. He knows what's at stake as Max Martin responds in kind up into 9th. Of course, these two fighting for a championship. Saint skill issue, of course, a no-show today. So people have a chance to make up some positions as well by just staying where they are, really. That's another thing, and Rosso has got that done, and he'll be looking to chase Antoine, who is in 4th, but staying within that DRS zone as of right now. Something now with a 3-second penalty. Of course, they went wide out of Degner and beyond the white line, so that means he has a 3-second penalty at the end of this. So if things are to stay as they are right now, I believe he would fall behind Rosso as well. So unfortunately for him, he has now got to carry that to the end of the race. You can't serve the 3-second penalty in the pits, as I keep reminding you. Of course, if anybody is new and is coming in, just reminding you of that as of right now. So Antoine at the moment looking like he could make an impression, but Mr. Goat has officially fallen out of that DRS range. So now Mr. Goat is going to be vulnerable to something behind, and something will need to get a hurry up as Vers makes a move for 5th. So Rosso's progress is slightly halted here by a fighting Aston Martin of Vers here. Of course, apparently Vers can think he can appeal this at the end of the race, which is very similar to what Max Martin did. But now he is vulnerable to Rosso with the DRS, and Rosso will just get past him again. And that's as easy as you like, to be honest with you. Rosso now back up into 5th position, but has lost half a second there due to battling with Vers through the back straight, through 130R, and then through the DRS zone there. So Rosso won't be happy with that. We're looking to try and break a gap through the snake, and I think he's just about done that. Nearly at half a second there for Rosso. So Rosso trying his best to bring down that gap, but has got a lot of work to do still. But now something is half a second within Vers, and of course something will be happy with this, because now he's going to try and look to break the gap. It looked unlikely that he will win the race, as Lasser did build an impressive 20-second lead towards the end of the first stint without the safety car. And then when it came out, of course, that lead got absolutely dissipated. But ultimately, something will be looking to build that gap again. He knows he has the pace, so he can take his time. With 30 laps to go, we are now within that gap where it becomes a normal league race. So when you get through the first part, the second part is just as it was, and then you can kind of try a normal strategy, if you don't mind my saying so, as you would in the league race. So a lot of mindsets will begin to switch as now Panther tries to make a move from Casio Triangle. Bloodsport there has been absolutely vulnerable through Casio Triangle. I don't know what it is, but a lot of drivers have picked Bloodsport at that particular section of track. So Bloodsport's struggling with something there. That seems to be where everybody's able to make a move, and Panther gets that done. Of course, he did have DRS for assistance. So there you go, Panther gets that done, and now looking to chase Vers and Rosso, but Rosso hasn't been able to break Vers there. So unfortunately for him, he might be happy with just where he is, and is just recharging that battery, waiting to go on a charge. We'll see how that plays out, but look at this. The battle for second is beginning to hot up here as something has made an error going out of the Degners there. That leaves him vulnerable to Antoine there. Will Antoine try something to happen? No, not close enough as it stands right now. So at the moment, Antoine holding station for now, but it's the battle for second which is taking the headlines as it stands. Of course, something needing to get past Mr. Goat sooner rather than later. Mr. Goat losing time to Lasser in front, nearly at 4.5 seconds there to Lasser, who's of course dominated the field. As it stands right now, we are approaching the halfway point, so this now becomes a normal league race from lap 26. Of course, QRL usually do 50% races. So now, here we go. Lasser will come across the line and mark the halfway point. Has led from lap 1 and has done an impressive job. There you go. We are now lap 26. The halfway point has been established. So a lot of drivers will surely switch their mindsets to think, well, now I'm in a normal league race. I can sort of think about the strategy that I would usually go with at this point and see what I can do. Because all drivers will surely need to make another stop before long. Now, I just wanted to say, Max Martin was one to keep an eye on, but since going up into 9th, he has not been able to bring that gap down to Bloodsport easily. Bloodsport as well has been dropping through the field from, I believe it was 4th to 8th position. And at the moment, Bloodsport's just not been able to gain any of that ground back as it stands right now. Of course, has lost out to faster drivers in front of him. Rosso has zoomed up the field since he got since the safety car, but now Rosso has very much stalled his progress, hasn't been able to quite bring the gap down to Antoine there. Of course, Antoine has had DRS, but now Antoine looking like he's going to be vulnerable at any moment. He was just briefly flirting with that 1 second gap there, but has been able to keep within it so far. He just needs to keep it for a couple of corners. Something looking like he's making a few errors in his driving, has gone wide a few times there. Of course, we saw it through Degner, and then you just saw it coming out the spoon curve there. So through 130R, everything will stay as it is. But look at the straight line speed something has. So evidently you set the car up for straight line speed rather than cornering ability. And the corners are what's keeping Antoine in all of this. You'll see something suffer from understeer, which is of course meaning that the front won't turn through those low speed sections. You'll see what I mean when we go through the hairpin in just a few moments there. But at the moment, look at how close he gets to Mr. Goat through the start finish line. But then ultimately Mr. Goat will begin to give out that gap. But Rosso has lost out to Vers again. Rosso really struggling to keep Vers in front of him and needs that DRS really of Antoine to try and put up a defense. But at the moment, Vers not even able to make much of an impression on Antoine here. As Matt said, we have... Oh no! Deku has had a moment through Snake. And was Max Set involved in all that? I don't think so. He wasn't anywhere near the collision point, but Deku just having a moment there. Has been struggling himself, as doesn't look to be any visible damage on the car, as Deku gets another 3-second penalty for track limits there. So I wonder if he's got a bit of damage to the front wing that isn't visible. But anyway, want to keep an eye out. Will he pit again, or will he retire? I hope not, because there could be another safety car, and then all of a sudden you're brought right back into it. But anyway, back to the battle for second here, and of course we have other battles going on as well. Max Martin, look at how far he's shot back from Bloodsport. 2.5 seconds previously on the previous lap, but now 3.9 seconds, nearly 4 seconds. So I wonder if he's made a mistake through that lap. But Bloodsport as well will be disappointed with this, as we've already stated. But here we go. Something has the DRS here. Not able yet again, not close enough to make that move. So Mr. Goat has set his car up for the corners and has done a wonderful job of keeping something behind. But Antoine as well, still in this as it stands right now. What will he do? He will surely blink in a couple of laps' time. We have 26 laps to go as it stands right now. So I'm sure some drivers will be thinking about pit stops, and I imagine the soft runners will be the first to come in, because of course those soft runners have the softer compound of tyres, which means the surface grip does fade away the fastest, and of course the mediums, which are slightly harder but not as hard as hard compounds, as Deku is now in the pits and goes on to those hard compound of tyres, trying to make it to the end of the race. But with that 6-second penalty looming over him, of course, unable to serve that in the pits. He will unfortunately have to deal with that towards the end, wherever he finishes. So ultimately, it was all unforced as well, due to the damage, of course. So Deku really having a miserable day, and he's just going to have to kind of reset and go again next round. While we've got a little break in the racing, let's go through your calendar. Of course, we will be back in Hungary same time next week. I will not be here as it stands, because I will be working. But of course, and then as we see some overtaking there. Antoine there actually looks to have made a mistake, because Vers is now within that 1 second gap as it stands right now, and Rosso in 6th has now been brought into this. Of course, Vers has carried Rosso along, and Lee Dog now makes the move on Night Nerd. And as soon as I cut away to the calendar, I didn't think anything would happen there, but then all of a sudden everything starts to happen. We now have Lee Dog up into 10th, Maxwell 10, though still struggling, but Lee Dog kind of been trying to make moves ever since he had that mistake on lap 1. And look at him just go through. You saw him suffer from a bit of understeer there coming out of the stake corner, but it looks like Maxwell 10 has got something wrong with the car. Something in the setup just hasn't gone right for him, and ultimately he's just not put any contention onto the field in front. But there you go, Bloodsport. Look at this, he's finally closed up to the field as it stands and could be looking to make a move. I wonder if those soft tyres have finally fallen off, because Panther and Antoine equally have lost ground to the cars in front of them. So it looks like those soft tyres can't go much longer. Might have to let Vers through here. Of course, Vers also with a 3-second penalty, unfortunately for him. So that's where we go for him. But something has done what he's needed to do. Has now broken the gap to Antoine. And now, look at that. Lee Dog making a move on Maxwell 10. Maxwell 10 really struggling here. Oh, that is a shame. But there you go. Antoine makes a move into the pits. So he's going to go for the undercut. And who else is coming there? That is Rosso. Rosso also making a move into the pits. What does Antoine take? Medium tyres. We did expect that as well. What does Rosso take? Another set of mediums. I believe he was on the softer compounds earlier in the race, so that's no surprise there. At the moment, Rosso has served his mandatory pit stops. Of course, in order to not get a penalty at the end of the race, you do have to use 2 sets of tyres, so 2 compounds of tyres, I should say. So you can make that hard, medium, soft, or soft, medium, hard. You get the gist of it. You have to use 2 of the 3 compounds given to you at a weekend race, and then you're okay. You've met the mandatory pit stop rule. But look at this. Vers will be happy with this, but of course we saw last week in Saudi Arabia how powerful that undercut was, so I'm sure that's going to be in the back of the minds of some drivers who are, of course, fighting for the podium, because now Antoine has the pace advantage over these drivers. They're on older compound of tyres, and now Antoine has just gotten a fresh set of boots, but this will be also good for Hyder Leo as well. But look, Antoine and Leo are in battle under half a second there. They are just going through a spoon as of right now, and they'll be onto the back straight in a moment. So Antoine might be beneficial just to let Hyder Leo through and then just follow him in the slipstream. Does anyone pull into the pits? No. None of the top 6 have pulled into the pits to cover off Antoine as it stands right now. But I believe Antoine is about to be overtaken as Maxette makes a little mistake there through Casio Triangle there, as Maxwell 10 now makes a move on lead up there with the DRS. So Maxwell 10 fine, but look at the oversteer that Maxwell 10 suffered there. He is absolutely squirrely coming out in the first corner there, and now through Snake. That's allowed Lee Dog back through for 7th position as it stands right now. Of course, they are yet to make pit stops. But who will budge on this first set of pit stops? But there you go. Rosso also got that move done for 11th position on Antoine. So now Antoine will be in a genuine race of pace for his own little race. Imagine if I could rhyme, I'd be a poet. But unfortunately, I'm not a very good poet, as you just heard there. So, at the moment, Rosso breaks away from Antoine, and Antoine probably looking to hang on. But look, hang on a minute. What's that? That's Maxette making a mistake at the hairpin. Maxette got it all wrong there. And of course, he's been looking a bit squirrely when we've been on board with him. So I wonder if he suffered damage to the car. or his tyres have simply gone to the end of their life and there's nothing further they can do. But Maxette, well, the AlphaTauris in general have struggled around here. So I wonder if something in the setup just went wrong there and they just didn't know what to do. Either way, unfortunately, as now something has made a move for second place and has evidently felt that he can see me. Mr. Goat no longer. Look at Mr. Goat on the edge of grip there. Drifts through the first corner. Not, of course, optimal for Formula 1 cars. Max Martin now moves up into 7th. Gets 7th back, but Rosso with a 130.2 for a fastest lap. So Rosso on pace at the moment and is carrying Antoine with him as well. So both of them are making impressions on the field in front, but no one came in for a pit stop to cover them off. And that is questionable as it stands right now, because towards the end of the race, surely they'll be in a good position. But maybe this is what the drivers in front want. But I want to give a shout out to Panther as well, as we have a caution in sector 1. Who is that for? Maxette again makes another mistake and has done damage to his front wing there. You can see the front left end plate has fallen off his car. He will need to pit again, and that will surely bring an end to any sort of race that he had going, unless if we see a late safety car. But unfortunately for him, that's it. And look at Panther, even on the oldest sets of soft tyres, has been able to make a move on Burrs there and has got that done. So now Mr. Goat has been able to get a comfortable gap to these cars battling behind him. Nobody again covering off Antoine or Rosso here. So evidently they've got a strategy that evidently they're abiding to, as Bloodsport finally makes a move. That is for 5th position as it stands right now. Of course, these drivers will need to make another stop, as I reiterate more than enough times, as Lee Dog and Max Martin yet again swap positions thanks to the DRS. So I wonder if they're working together, trying to make moves up the field. Try and catch up to the pack in front. At the moment, they are 8 seconds behind the pack battling in front of them. So a lot of work needing to be done still. But at the moment, it is Lee Dog leading this pack at the moment with Martin and Night Nerd. It is about for 7th, and Maxette makes another pit stop. How many stops? He made 3 stops at the moment. I believe this was his 3rd stop as it stands right now. So Maxette hits from 12th, loses out to Deku in 12th. Of course, Deco with a 6-second time penalty thanks to track limits will be served at the end of this race. But look at this. It's a slow pit stop. And there you go. Maxette, with 21 laps to go, feels the need to bring out the softs. And we'll continue on like that. But look at Lasser, 11 seconds in front. We've barely talked about him because we haven't really needed to. He's just been in a race of his own and hasn't really been involved in the dramas behind. And deservedly so. He has led a dominant race. He could have taken the win in Saudi Arabia if it wasn't just for a quick lapse in concentration. But ultimately for him, he has led the race. And look at this. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1, and that is for Maxette yet again. Maxette with another mistake. What is happening here? Why can't he get that car pointing straight? What has happened to him here? Making a mistake through Snake. We've seen a few drivers do that, and he is now lapped. He gets going eventually and has got no further damage as it stands right now, but I don't know. I hope that wasn't deliberate. That's all I'll say. But then again, Maxette's behavior, as Maxette now gets a 3-second penalty for track limits, multiple warnings for him, and now needs to serve that at the end of the race. But a miserable day at the AlphaTauri office. Lee Dog now beginning to break away from Max Martin there, as I think Night Nerd looked to have a go. I think Max Martin made a mistake going through the Degners, and that means now Night Nerd is right up on his gearbox, and when they approach the DRS zone on the start-finish line, he will surely be in a good position to make the move with DRS. But look at that, Max Martin. Look at how quick he is through the corners. Oh, but as soon as I say that, he goes well wide on the exit of Spoon, and that allows Night Nerd through. So look at that understeer of the car, really paying Max Martin pace there. So unfortunately for him, losing out to Hyder Leo. Well, no, it was to Night Nerd there, but Hyder Leo only 3 seconds behind this. And Antoine happy to stay within the DRS of all of this. He's just happy that he's getting a push. number 34 car will be happy with this. They are still not being covered off with now, which will be, I think, 17 laps to go. No, it is 19 laps to go as it stands right now. 18, of course, it will be on the next lap. We're at 35 out of 53. We are now approaching the conclusion of this race, and yet again, we have a caution in sector 1, which was very brief. It has now been cleared up rather quickly. And actually, no, we do have something wrong here. Maxette has made another error coming through Snake, so a bit of a usual suspect there, if you don't mind my saying so. Maxette really struggling with the setup of the car for whatever reason that might be. But at the moment, like I keep saying, very few points. This time we have another one in sector 2, and it's Maxette again. What has happened to him? Let's just keep an eye on this for a moment. Of course, if we see any battles or overtakes being made, I will cut right back to them. But I just want to see what's going on here. He looks fine through here, as it stands right now. If anybody could give me an update on Maxette, that would be really appreciated. As it stands right now, though, Maxette has been struggling with that car, but there you go. Now we are seeing pit stops. Mr. Go and Bloodsport are gonna cover off Antoine and Rosso if they can, but it's too little too late. Mr. Goat goes onto the softs. Bloodsport, though, still yet to make his pit stop, will now go onto the softs as well. So I think that's what they were waiting for. With 18 laps to go, they are now within the window for the softs to become of great use to the end of the race. Now, Mr. Goat will... And now we have a caution yet again. As Maxette has lost his front wing. What is going on with Maxette? This looks... I don't know. I don't want to be the conspiracy theorist commentator, but you just have to question what's going on here. I don't know, but no safety car or virtual safety car being pulled out as of right now. We are now seeing Night Nerds do battle with Lead Dog, and well, we have a caution again, but something different this time. It's not the same. It's Antoine. Antoine has lost out. He just made his pit stop and now loses the advantage that he had. So Antoine, with a mistake there, he is going to be kicking himself in the cockpit with 17 laps to go. All he had to do was keep it together, but he has lost the advantage thanks to that mistake. As now Lead Dog and Night Nerd do battle as well. A lot kicking off in this finale of the Japanese Grand Prix, as now Night Nerd is the first into the pits. No, it's not. Hang on, that's Lead Dog. Sorry about that. I, for some odd reason, thought a Red Bull and Mercedes shared a livery there. I do apologise, but that is Lead Dog now coming into the pits. Night Nerd is the one who has stayed out, and Mr. Goat now reassumes his dominance throughout the podium places as it stands right now. Makes up another position, but on a charge as of right now. So now the guys in the podium spots are vulnerable to Mr. Go and Bloodsport equally. Antoine as well, losing the advantage of the undercutters. Now Rosso looking to make a move there through an unlikely place. The Degners there. And Max Martin won't be happy about this. He will want to defend, I imagine, for as long as he possibly can, trying to defend through the hairpin as well. Rosso, you can see how much faster Rosso is. Look at the traction he gets out of the corner compared to Max there. So at the moment, Rosso is being held up by Max here. He will not be happy about this. He will just want them to move, but it is for racing position, so Max does have the right, as we see a caution for sector 1 again. That is for Maxette there. Name a more iconic duo, unfortunately. So at the moment, we have Rosso trying to battle Max Martin, but Max Martin has been able to build a little bit of a cushion to where he is comfortable, as now the top, it is the top two, so the leader is pitted, and now something will need to do the same. And Lasser goes out onto medium compounded tyres as Vers goes onto the soft. So now Mr. Goat sets a fastest step of 129.344. There we go. Vers will have at least a 5-second penalty after the reports. I imagine so as well. But anyway, Bloodsport at the moment now making up pits making up positions as well. He is up into 8th, which of course where he was last time. Caution in sector 2 again for Maxette there. So Maxette having a really bad time of it for some reason. Let's have a look at him as it stands right now. And oh, Rosso with a 3-second penalty. And ultimately that will ruin his charge through the field. And yet again, struggling to keep it between the white lines. That has been his only fault. But there you go, Rosso gets a great move on Max Martin here. But Max Martin yet again staying stubborn and keeping his championship contender right behind him. I don't think he's going to try and stay on these mediums to the end, but entertaining racing as it stands right now as Maxette gets another yellow flag. But there you go, there's Hyder Leo right on the gearbox of Max there. Will he try something going into 130R? I don't think so. And it all stays as it is, and with 60 laps to go, something now goes into the pits, so we'll keep an eye on that. But the battle of gear is entertaining. Max Martin got it all wrong there. Rejoins the track safely. Will he come into the pits? No. So Max Martin has something in the strategy that he feels it's best to release as of late. But look at this. He is vulnerable to Panther behind. Panther could have stuck it around the inside there, but ultimately thought better of it. Max Martin still putting up a defense there. Bloodsport makes a position on something only just coming out of the pits. But look at how that undercut has worked out for him. Look at that. Something is now behind Verza Bloodsport, and that wasn't a battle he was originally involved with. Now Rosso all of a sudden could be looking good here, and as now Panther finally makes up that position on Max Martin. Max Martin was just looking a bit slow there. Of course, he is on older sets of compounds of tyres, and as is Night Nerd, which Panther also makes a position on. Look at how late he can brake as we see a yellow flag for a car there who's made a mistake. Not sure which one that is. Oh, it's Maxette, who has been running without a wing for a couple of laps now. I don't know what Maxette is up to. So, I don't know. Norwegian Lasser the GOAT. Evidently, Alteza, a fan of Lasser here, dominated the field and has led just about every single lap apart from when he's needed to pit, as Mr. GOAT now makes a move on Max Martin. Max Martin needs to pit sooner rather than later. Always going to try and go to the end on these tyres, but either way, he will be losing the lead to the championship. And I think for Lasser, the fact that it's Rosso who's right behind him, I think he'll be happy with that, because Rosso wasn't leading the championship going into this, but was in contention. And now Rosso, as Verz sets the fastest lap of a 1:29.082, will Lasser respond in kind with a 1:28, of course. The fastest lap currently going into this, as Maxette now retires from the session, has gone into the pits and has had enough. So what was 13 now becomes 12, and with 14 laps to go, Maxette calls it a day. It's been an absolute miserable time. As now Mr. Goat and Night Nerd do battle yet again through Dunlop going into the Degners. And Mr. Goat gets that done up into 4th position. He is on a charge right now. He is looking to get a podium position out of this. Panther not too far behind Rosso either. But Mr. Goat wants to keep an eye out for sure. Look at how he's charging through the field as it stands. Panther as well has done a good job. But at the moment, as now Mix24 in, Mr. Goat, my goat is Mr. Goat. Mix2461 in the Twitch chat here, giving support to Mr. Goat, who is zooming, and they want to keep an eye out for sure towards the end of the race. 14 laps to go as it stands right now. Battles are forming all across the field. We've just done the last set of pit stops. Max Martin is yet to pit. Is he going to try and go to the end on these? At the moment, I don't think he will. That will surely be a questionable strategy, because Bloodsport is not too far behind, and Maxette leaves the sessions, although it looks like he is blundering right now. No, he isn't. He's doing a good job of things, as Panther is now caught up. So let's have a look at this. As now Max Martin makes a move on Night Nerd, and Burst has made a move on Bloodsport. So yet again, Bloodsport hasn't been able to take advantage of the momentum that those soft tyres bring. So as it stands right now, everybody kind of shuffling positions, and it is entertaining. I don't know really where to look. We'll look at the battle for second as of right now, because this could bring Mr. Goat into the equation if they're not careful. Rosso looked like he had a moment there, goes beyond the white lines. That will be a track limits warning for him for sure. Panther nearly making contact, but Panther gets up into second position. Good stuff from him as Furs and Night Nerd now do battle. Furs got a better run out of Degners and then carried it all the way through to the hairpin round the outside. Furs gets that done in spectacular fashion, but Max Martin will now begin to feel the pressure of Furs behind him. Max Martin surely has to pit. He can't survive on those tyres much longer. Surely not. But anyway, he's going to hold out for as long as he can. Is Hyder Leo on a one-stop? No, I don't think he is. He's... unless he is. Hang on, let's have a look. No, he's on a two-stopper. That's how he's done it right now. Mick saying, DFK. But this epic commentator uses search for a job in Sky Sports, mate. Sky Sports don't want me, mate. It's unfortunately a very taken network up at Sky Sports. Thank you, though, for the compliments, though. I appreciate the kind words, of course. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate on QLR for this season. It's a shame I won't be here next week due to work, but it is what it is. But Lee Dog finally makes a move on his teammate there, so the Red Bull teammates now doing battle, and Antoine loses out yet again. And now Rosso hasn't let go of this battle just yet, but Mr. Goat is now within DRS, so Mr. Goat, one to look out for, as I said, and now he is in a battle for second place. This will do absolute great for his championship. Of course, Saint Skill Issue, a no-show, so he'll drop down the order towards the end of this race. One more team better than 3 commentators. Ah, thank you so much, Alteza. That's so kind. But anyway, we still have a race to go. We've got 12 laps as it stands right now to go, and Mr. Goat looking very racy for second place. Lasser, though, no competition at all, but will Mr. Goat bring the fire to him? We'll soon see. He would need to make a move on this lap, preferably on both Rosso and Panther. But of course, those softer compounds will fall off much sooner than those mediums, so it might not even matter. But there you go. There's Mr. Goat round the outside of him before the Casio Triangle. So Rosso losing a bit of momentum, going through 130R there for whatever reason. Evidently, downforce not his strong suit as it stands. But look at Mr. Goat. He's done what he needed to do. What a great couple of moves there from Mr. Goat. That is important for the race. If he wants to win, he has just done what he needed to do. And now Mr. Goat will surely go on the charge as lead dog. As Max Martin, there you go. He does make his third stop of the race. So Max Martin will now go to the third stop of the... No, that's the second stop of his race, I do believe. There you go. As caution in Sector 1 for a McLaren. I believe that is something. So something losing out. So yeah, that is Max Martin's third stop of the race. 3-second penalty for Max Martin at the point where he least needed it. Unfortunately for him, that is the end of any sort of charge. Now, we needed to say that Mr. Goat needed to make a charge as of right now, but has made no impression on Lasser. But of course, Lasser on the fresh set of medium tyres. So maybe those softs have seen their best, but look at that. Oh, Max Martin into the barrier outside of Snake. Has he incurred further damage there? I wonder. At the moment, the yellow flag is only out for Sector 1 and he will get underway. Max Martin having a really, really bad day of it as something now makes position on Night Nerd. But of course, something has that 3-second penalty to serve at the end. Max Martin washed. Now all you need is that Nico Rosberg explosion meme saying, is Max Martin's career over? And then you've about got the vibes that that message sends. But anyway, something now under pressure from Night Nerd, but of course a bit nil and void considering that something does have a 3-second penalty. Anyway, Bloodsport there has been able to make a couple of positions thanks to mistakes that have happened around him. He's up in the 6th position, but ultimately now in a race of his own and will just be looking to hold the line to something who will of course be eventually on in Bloodsport, having a good time of it. Now Bloodsport does have a couple of drivers ahead of him that need to serve penalties, so I wonder if that will come into prevalence at the end of the race. At the moment he is just within that 3-second window, kind of flirting with it, to be honest with you, but he is currently still within it. But maybe by the end of the race he won't be in it. We have 10 laps to go and a battle for second has brewed up because look, Rosso has fallen out of all of this. He is just underneath that 1-second gap and has just fallen out of it. So now we turn our attention to the battle for second place between Panther and Mr. Goat. Realistically, Ver's there in the background just saying, hey, I'm coming for you, play the Jaws theme, and you have a really appropriate image there for this race. Panther will have better tyres at the end of Mr. Goat. I do agree with that one. Mr. Goat will have used the best of his softs. He's not been able to take the charge to him from second, and in fact has lost out by a second since overtaking. So there you go, Panther with the DRS there. And guess what? Rosso has been broken. So at the moment, Rosso has not got any DRS and will probably be vulnerable to Ver's behind there. Of course, they're both in a genuine race of their own. They both have 3 seconds equally, so that is 4th position. And Bloodsport now outside of the 3-second window. They don't have to worry about anyone behind, but they don't want to fight this too hard and bring Bloodsport back into this and think, oh no, I've just gone and lost a genuine position. The battle in front of them is of no concern as well, so they can't worry about that too much. Of course, if anything does happen, it's just a bit too late into the race ultimately for them to be considered for genuine position. As, oh no! Deku, oh, okay, thank goodness. Okay, that was just on the start finish straight. Sorry for making something out of nothing there. Deku retires. That means what was 12 becomes 11. Luckily, he retired when coming into the pit, so that's all okay, but he will be scoring no points at all. And look at that, Mr. Goat breaking the slipstream in a way I haven't seen before. Looking like Fernando Alonso warming up his tyres in his primetime era. Although you can argue he's still within his primetime era. He's quite the driver. That is not allowed, mate. Oh, Alteza bringing out the rule book on Mr. Goat. So, that is not allowed within the rules of the sport. And there you go, Vers makes a move in the background on Rosso. So, I wonder what was going on there. So, Alteza might be filing a genuine report there, as now we are seeing an Alpine, and I believe that's the retirement of Deku there, just making his way onto the track. Of course, that'll be his AI controlling it. I'm not sure why that was allowed to come out, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So at the moment, Rosso now loses another position to Vers there. Now Vers, as Maxwell 10 takes the fastest up at 1:28.864. Now, in terms of Lewis Hamilton's lap time, he has been beaten by over 2 seconds, so Maxwell 10 might be challenging. Not washed at all, as Alteza says. Not washed at all. So Max Martin is challenging Lewis Hamilton for his, well, what will be Ferrari seat next year. But anyway, we have 8 laps to prove if he can keep it on track as it stands right now. At least Lewis Hamilton has consistency around Suzuka. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, this battle for second position has become a little more intriguing because Vers has carried Rosso thanks to the DRS, and now they have been brought into this battle for second position. But realistically, this is between Panther and Mr. Goat. If what we're seeing on paper is to be correct and nothing happens within the stewards. Of course, a lot happened within the stewards last time. We, of course, saw 8 drivers not finish the race in Saudi Arabia. We haven't had the Destruction Derby Wreckfest of Saudi Arabia, but it has still been, if anything, as dramatic, and lots of good racing up and down the field, of course. So, as it stands right now, Panther still trying to make an impression on Mr. Goat, but I believe Mr. Goat's softs will have just about fallen off. This has been a great battle developing. Of course, everyone else has kind of spaced out. League Dog got away from Night Nerd there, so let's have a look at the positions that have been gained on track. Look at Panther, though. 12 positions from 15th to 3rd. Of course, he has had a few retirements to thank for that, but as it stands, Panther might be in contention for driver of the day. But then again, if he can hold it, if he can hold a podium position, I will give him driver of the day. That is my deal there. Not trying to bribe him or anything, just kind of saying how I feel about Panther's drive here. But he is currently under pressure from Vers behind and has lost touch with that 1 second gap to Mr. Goat, so he will need to rely on battery deployment, and I think he's gone and done exactly that, because now the gap is underneath 8/10. So Panther using the battery correctly and will stay within the DRS to put up a defense against Vers behind. Now Rosso again loses that 1 second DRS gap that he would have needed to stay with Burrs there. But unfortunately for him, it's dropped right back. But look at this! The DRS not enough to stop Burrs. Burrs down the inside of the first corner. How are they still side by side without making contact? Oh, this would be a great race if Burrs didn't have a 3-second penalty through the snake. They still go side by side. Look at that! Panther and Burrs with the great battle there from first corner to the snake, and gets that done rather beautifully. That was a great move from Burrs there on Panther, and now Burrs will surely be trying to get onto the back of his teammate and try and defend from Panther. Of course, it's all a bit nil and void thanks to the 3-second penalty that Burrs has incurred, but Burrs still showing that he has race in him still, despite the circumstances that are surrounding him. Don't give up, as the famous saying goes, and he is doing exactly that. Antoine has been forced to make another pit stop. He has dropped all the way down to 11th position and is currently on fresher soft tyres. Max Martin was, of course, the only beneficiary from that as it stands. But look at Night Nerd. He has been hanging on to his medium tyres for 31 laps. Surely, my guy, it's time to make a pit stop and just admit defeat. But if you can go to the end on this, no problem at all. Shout out to you, I suppose. But now, Panther has now got the DRS on Burrs, and now Rosso has been brought into all of this as well. It looks like Panther has lost out on straight line speed here, as Burrs doesn't have the DRS, so he might be vulnerable to him. No, he isn't. Burrs was just far enough ahead to keep Panther at bay. Of course, Burrs hoping that Panther gets some sort of track limits penalty, but Panther has been looking rather good, considering his consistency as it stands right now. So Panther definitely holding out, but Mr. Go, unless if something dramatic was to happen right now, I think he has got second place involved. But Lasser has had absolutely no challenge at all. He has dominated from lap 1 and only lost the lead briefly when the pit stop window came about. But Lasser has just been unstoppable and unchallenged. You can hear absolutely nothing around him. It is all quiet as it stands. So Lasser with an excellent job of things. Well done to him as it stands, but it's not over yet. For battles behind him, we only have a battle realistically for second place. Burrs has been brought into the DRS of his teammate Mr. Goat there. This is not what Mr. Goat wants, of course. Hopefully he's just using this as a defense there. So it gets interesting. The team dynamics are going to come into play. Will Burrs be allowed ahead so that he can have, so that Mr. Goat, his teammate, can be allowed to use DRS to defend from Panther? Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know though. We'll see how this plays out. So 4 laps to go. And now we are seeing a battle for second place as Panther has just fallen off. Has he used the best of his tyres as well? Because Panther has just completely fallen back behind that 1-second gap that he needed to stay in. Unfortunate for him, but of course, might not be over just yet. As long as he can keep within that 3-second window to Burrs. He does have third position at the very least. 4 laps to go though, so Panther's got his work cut out, and a racy Rosso behind him. 4 laps older tyres, of course, same compound, as I think Mr. Goat made a brief mistake there, as Antoine sets the fastest up with a 1:28.162. So now the seat changes over to Antoine for Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari. Antoine saying, hey, I've got a chance at this seat as well, don't count me out. So there you go. All of these drivers might be lapping faster than Lewis Hamilton did back in 2019. That is an interesting thought here as we approach the conclusion of the end of this race. But Lasser again, of course, is just coming round the Casio Triangle now and begins lap 51 out of 53. 3 laps to go, and this battle for second has hotted up at just the right moment, because now Burrs, with the 3-second penalty, hasn't been able to make the impression that he wanted to. It seems like Panther is just a bit wider than the other cars there going through the Casio Triangle. 1:31.156 there from Panther there. So it looks like we are lapping a little slower than Lewis Hamilton, but we are certainly matching the times made in that 2019 Grand Prix way back when. Of course, different regulations in 2019 than we do now, but ultimately just as quick. So this is great to watch. With 3 laps to go, battle for second. Mr. Goat making a good cushion here to Vers through the snake. At the moment, Rosso just not been able to get in touch. And look at this, we have an accident here outside of the first corner. That is Night Nerd, who's made a mistake there. But no safety car deployed. That would have been aggravating timing for Lasser there. If we'd have got going on the final lap, that would have been a replication of Abu Dhabi there, if unlucky. So, as it stands, the racing resumes as normal for now. Vers unable to hold his own to Mr. Goat here, and Rosso has been unable to make any sort of impression. Now, Panther, can he make a move on Vers to try and charge for the second place? Because he was in that genuine race there, but I wonder if he's just decided to say, you know what, third place is going up for me. I think Vers is overheating his tyres. You know what, I wouldn't be surprised either. Vers has definitely been struggling to keep up with his teammate there in second, and now Panther does have a chance at overtaking. Let's see how much he closes in by. Not by enough. Coming into first corner, 2 laps to go as it stands right now. Vers doing what he needs to do for his teammate. I think that's all he wanted to do, was give Mr. Goat the cushion that he needed for second place, and then just hold off Panther. But of course, Panther, I'm sure, will still be happy with a third place. As things stand right now, definitely better than he expected, considering what has gone on around him. But Max Martin will be sorely disappointed, I imagine, with, well, what could be 10th position, 9th position even, because Night Nerds on those 35-lap-old hard, mediums even, are now, well, he's actually lost out to the gap for Max Martin, 2.5 seconds there. But of course, Max Martin has a 3-second penalty to serve thanks to track limits at the end of the race. So, Max Martin might still get another position, but will need to, of course, get 3 seconds. And of course, at this stage of the race, I just don't think that's likely. We saw Vers there make a little mistake coming out of Spoon Curve there, and this could leave him vulnerable to Panther if he is not careful. We are, of course, on the final lap. Lasser is just going through the first corner now. We'll keep an eye on this as we have an instant in sector 2. Night Nerd has made a mistake yet again. I think he's just gone down to last position. That is 35-lap-old mediums for you. He has suffered through the worst of it, but it hasn't worked. Panther is on minimum fuel, according to Alteza here. Alteza, thank you for the information. But Panther, that's why he's been holding off. He has not got a lot of fuel left. So, he's only really got this lap, and then that is it. But ultimately, under pressure from Rosso behind as well. This is a nightmare scenario for Panther here. Can he hold out? But Lasser, as we have another caution through, and is a crash for Max Martin again. Max Martin has got it all wrong coming out of Casio. He will begin his final lap as it stands right now, but Max Martin with a miserable race there, down into last. That is the end of any sort of charge. But Lasser, who is coming through 130 on now, has not been challenged, has not really had anything to worry about. He has led from lap 1 and through Casio Triangle. He will stay in the lead through the final corner. He wins in Suzuka at last. After having a miserable first couple of rounds, we will now cut to the battle here. Vers has gotten away from Panther a little bit, but Panther's still looking to make a move. And they go through Casio Triangle. Vers will at least hold that, but at the moment, Panther will come across the line just in time, and he has held out very well. Panther up into third, and that will be because of the penalty. Bloodsport in sixth has had a quiet race there. Something comes across the line eventually, and I think he's going to lose out to Lead Dog. He does. So Lead Dog improves up into seventh, and now Antoine. Oh, and then Max Martin as well, another DNF. So what was 11 was 10. And on the final lap of the race as well, unlucky for Max Martin, Antoine then gets a 3-second penalty and adds on to the list of drivers, but he will be fine. He will finish 9th regardless. And Night Nerd on 36-lap-old mediums gets to the end of the race eventually in 10th and rounds out your 10 drivers. What on earth have we just witnessed? That was amazing stuff. Amazing battles all around the field. And your driver of the day goes to Panther. But I don't know. I am torn. I think it is for me between Lasser and Panther. Panther did well there to hold out for as long as he did. Good stuff by him. So Lasser, of course, there's your podium. Well, there's your podium tops. Well, there's your top spot on the podium. Goes to Lasser there. And there is, of course, Panther in third. Mr. Goat in second. He will surely be happy with that. But, of course, there might be a bit of investigation for a bit of weaving he did earlier in the race. So, well, we go. Let's have a look at the calendar once these podium celebrations have finished. But Mercedes, not take it well. At least they have a winner on the top step, but Night Nerd all the way down in last. So, actually, we're not going to get a chance. So, that's sort of the end of the broadcast. So let's have a look at the calendar now. Of course, we will be in Hungary next week. Now, ultimately, I won't be here. Unfortunately, I have got work to go to, sadly. So, that will be somebody else in the commentary box as it stands right now. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry to miss that one, but ultimately, it is what it is. Good commentating, bro, says Alteza. Thank you so much. But that is all she wrote as it stands right now. In fact, we shall just do a quick adjustment to the Logitune. I need to pass on my sincerest apologies for the first minutes of the stream. Unfortunately, there was something messed up in OBS yet again, which I didn't anticipate. And unfortunately, you didn't have audio for the first few laps of the race. So I do apologize for those watching on YouTube and for those watching on the VOD as well. Hopefully that won't happen again. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, just one of those things. I do apologize to the league as well, and to the admins and the owner. But that is all she wrote for round number 3. Of course, next week we'll be in Hungary. You're good, bro. Thank you so much. But anyway, it is going to be an interesting fight going into Hungary. How will the standings look? We will see how it all looks. But anyway, that is all from me for this week. From wherever you may be in the world, I wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay safe, stay alive, and I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks at the most. So either I will see you for, what is it? It will either be Imola or the finale at Brazil. You can guarantee I'll be at the finale, but from the broadcast today, have a good one. And if you want to follow me for more streams, tomorrow is a bank holiday, so we will conclude Mass Effect 3. And for other streams as well, I will be moving on to Star Wars Jedi Survivor. If that's your thing, give a follow. But otherwise, see you next time in about 2 or 3 weeks. Bye-bye.